I was working in one of the top architectural practices in Singapore for over a decade. After working for many years, I began questioning, I began realizing that there's actually more that I can do with my skill set. I resigned from my job at the peak of my career, and I bought a one-way ticket to Africa. In Africa, I studied missions. I lived with the poor. When the people had no food, I had no food. When they had no electricity, I had no electricity. Literally I left behind first world comforts, and my experience living on the ground is one of them caused a very big paradigm shift in my mind. On the way back to Singapore, my heart was conflicted. I couldn't unsee what I saw, and the experiences that I had changed the way I look at things, and I really wanted to play a bigger part in transforming communities. I decided to set up an architectural practice, but one that stems from the belief that there is power of transformation in architecture. While continuing to pursue commercial projects, the practice would invest heavily into marginalized communities and countries.
God spoke to us about the nation of Rwanda. We know not very much about Rwanda, but after we found out more, our hearts were broken for this nation. In 1994, they went through a genocide that murdered more than 1 million people in 100 days. It is devastating. You lose one generation of people and the country has to rebuild themselves. God led us to this school that is for blind children. It is not just for any blind children, but it's for children who live below the poverty line, which is less than $1 a day. So many a times the families with these children, they can't even sustain themselves. So what they do, they abandon them to live with wild animals in the wild. These children are so young, average about 5 years old, 4 years old. They cannot survive for very long. I have seen blind people, but I never thought the impact of seeing blind children would be so heartbreaking. We found ourselves speechless when we saw them, because of the way they are and the way they behave. When we found this blind school, it was for a school of 55 children who are blind. And now we are building a blind school for them, and then we are increasing the capacity to more than 300. We want to make a difference in their lives. This school will not just help them in their day-to-day living, but also train them to be prepared for their future and to prepare for their livelihood in the future. Above all, we really hope to bring them love and joy.
Mozambique has gone through seasonal cyclones. When natural disasters like that happens, it's actually very devastating for the entire communities. They are fairly organic. Houses are constructed of mud, bamboo, so they are not very permanent in nature. Survival is almost a daily battle for them. Many of them go without food for days, without clean water for days. Natural disasters, diseases and sicknesses are something that they have to battle on a daily basis. Seeing people losing their loved ones, has been very heartbreaking, and I just couldn't imagine that kind of reality could actually exist.
An opportunity arose when we were able to build the school, a university for the nation of Mozambique. It is Africa's first oceanfront university. It is about 75 hectares huge, and then it is a full-fledged university. We envision not just Mozambicans to come, but people from all over the world, all parts of Africa to come. We went to DRC Congo in Africa. It is a nation that is conflicted. There is civil war happening even right now. There were many children who is living through such unrest, and there was very little hope in their life. And we came to discuss and we decided to design and build 40 schools in Congo. These schools will be for children who are refugees, child brides, and child soldiers. It is amazing to see how their lives has been transformed after coming to our schools. Before, they were hopeless and hungry, not knowing what's going to happen to their life in the future. But now, after what education has done to them, you can see on their faces, they are full of hope and joy, and they were amazed at how life can be different for them.
Looking back at the last several years, the impact that we've made is tangible. We have been able to transform communities, we've been able to bring hope to places where there was no hope. And moving forward, we've got great plans in the pipeline. We have got plans to expand to even more countries, to reach out to more marginalized communities, to bring more hope, to bring more aid, and to bring the gospel to people who need to hear them.